So you need to hire a Visual FoxPro developer.
Yeah.
In today's world, that's kind of like looking for a vintage car mechanic.
It is a bit of a niche search.
Right. They're out there, but it's not the easiest thing.
Exactly.
But those legacy systems,
Yeah.
especially in industries like finance or healthcare, you need people who know this stuff inside and out.
Absolutely. Those systems are mission critical for a lot of companies.
And that's where a resource like theperfectdeveloper.com can be so helpful.
Definitely. They specialize in finding those hard-to-find developers.
For any tech, really, but especially for something like Visual FoxPro.
Yeah, if you're listening and you're ready to start that search,
Check out their 5 questions tool.
it'll point you in the right direction.
Okay, so let's back up a second.
Okay.
For anyone who might not be familiar,
Yeah.
what exactly is Visual FoxPro?
You know, in the simplest terms, it's a programming language,
Okay.
but it's really powerful for working with data.
Databases, that sort of thing.
Exactly. And it was huge back in the day.
Back when I had hair.
Uh-huh.
But even though Microsoft stopped supporting it officially back in 2015,
I think it was 2015.
it's still running a lot of critical systems.
It is, and that's why finding experienced Visual FoxPro developers is so important.
It's like finding someone who can keep those vintage cars running.
Exactly. You need someone who understands the ins and outs.
So beyond just knowing the language itself,
Yeah.
what are the key skills we should be looking for?
Well, first and foremost, they got to be fluent in Visual FoxPro.
Of course.
I mean, really fluent, not just dabbling.
Right. They need to know how it works with data.
Especially large data sets.
These systems are often dealing with a ton of information.
Exactly.
So database management skills are critical.
Absolutely. Things like query optimization, indexing,
Making sure those systems run smoothly.
efficiently, yeah.
It's also going to be someone who's comfortable working with legacy systems.
Yeah, someone who's not afraid of digging into older code.
Figuring out how it all works.
And how to keep it running smoothly.
And ideally, someone who's also thinking about modernization.
Right, even if it's just down the road.
Like maybe integrating Visual FoxPro with newer technologies.
If that's part of your plan.
So we've got this idea of the ideal candidate.
Yeah.
But let's talk money for a second.
Okay.
What kind of salary are we talking about for these developers?
Well, it really depends.
Regular.
Location, experience, all the usual factors.
Sure.
But theperfectdeveloper.com actually has some great data on this.
Okay.
In the U.S., the average range is somewhere between $60,000 and $120,000 per year.
That's a pretty wide range.
It is, but it gives you a general idea.
Right, at least a starting point.
No, globally, it can vary even more.
Interesting.
Europe tends to be a bit lower,
Oh, nice.
and Asia even more so.
So there's potentially some cost savings if you're open to outsourcing.
Yeah, but then you've got to factor in things like communication.
Time zones, project management, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's a trade-off.
So another question that comes up a lot. Do you hire someone in-house?
Right.
Or do you outsource this?
That's a tough one.
It is.
It really depends on your specific needs.
Yeah.
Theperfectdeveloper.com actually recommends thinking about it in terms of your hiring model.
Okay, I like that.
So full-time, if Visual FoxPro is really core to your business,
Makes sense.
part-time maybe for occasional needs.
Or even project-based for specific upgrades.
Exactly.
So you've got some options.
You do. You've got some options, but let's say you've decided on your hiring model,
Okay.
and you've even found some promising candidates.
Yeah. How do you actually vet these developers?
How do you know they really know their stuff?
Right, because it's one thing to say,
You're a Visual FoxPro expert.
but it's another to actually...
Prove it.
So what are some good interview questions?
Yeah, that can really help you.
Separate the wheat from the chaff.
Well, you want to go beyond the basics.
Are you familiar with Visual FoxPro?
Right. Get more specific.
Okay, like what?
You could ask something like, tell me about a time you had to troubleshoot a performance issue in a Visual FoxPro application.
Interesting.
And what steps did you take to diagnose and resolve the problem?
So you're really getting them to
Yeah.
walk you through their process,
Show their work.
show their thinking.
Exactly.
You want to understand how they approach problems.
Yeah, especially with legacy systems.
It's not always straightforward.
Right. It often requires creativity.
Thinking outside the box.
Resourcefulness for sure.
Now, what about
Yeah.
soft skills?
Uh-huh.
How do you assess those in a technical interview?
You can use hypothetical scenarios.
Okay.
Like, imagine you're working on a critical update to
Oh,
a financial system,
right.
and you discover a bug that could impact data integrity.
Oh, that's a good one.
What would you do?
Right. How do you handle that pressure?
Because it is a pressure situation.
Exactly. And you can see how they
Okay.
communicate.
What a problem-solving skill.
Yeah, how they prioritize.
Yeah. All those things. It's all important.
It's also important to think about their willingness to learn.
Yeah, because even though it's a legacy language,
Right.
there are still updates and new ways to integrate it with newer technologies.
So you're looking for someone who's
Adaptable,
All right.
open to new things.
not afraid to learn new stuff,
Exactly. Maybe even ask about their experience with other languages.
just to gauge their curiosity.
Yeah, see if they've explored other areas.
All right, so let's say you've found the perfect candidate.
You have.
They've got the skills, the experience.
The right attitude.
Now it's time to talk
Money.
salary negotiations.
Uh-huh.
How do you approach that with a niche skill set like Visual FoxPro?
Well, that's where having data is so helpful.
Okay.
Remember the perfectdeveloper.com's salary breakdowns?
Yeah, they had those average ranges.
Exactly. That gives you a starting point.
So at least you know what ballpark you're in,
Right. You don't want to lowball them.
or overpay.
No, you want to be fair.
But also keep in mind that it's not just about the money anymore.
Right. Especially these days.
People are looking for more
A flexible
work-life balance.
professional development.
All those things matter.
They do.
So you've made the offer.
They accept it.
They're ready to start.
How do you onboard them effectively?
Yeah, because it's a unique situation.
It is.
You've got these legacy systems.
Right. It's not like just giving them access to the latest software.
So how do you make sure they hit the ground running?
Well, first and foremost, clear communication. Make sure they have access to all the systems they need.
Any documentation.
Yeah, anything that can help them understand how things work.
Support channels.
Exactly. They need to feel comfortable asking questions.
Because they're going to have questions.
Oh, yeah.
It's a new environment.
It is.
New systems.
It can be overwhelming.
Absolutely.
A mentor can be really helpful.
Like a buddy system.
Yeah, someone who can show them the ropes.
Answer those day-to-day questions.
Provide some guidance.
All right. So we've talked about hiring,
Yeah.
onboarding, but what about long-term career prospects for these Visual FoxPro developers?
Right. Is this a dead-end job? That's a good question.
Because it is a specialized field.
It is, but I don't think it's a dead end at all.
Okay, why not?
Well, instead of thinking of it as just a legacy language,
Why?
think of it as a specialized tool.
In their toolbox.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're focusing on the strengths.
Yeah, the unique skills these developers have.
They're not just maintaining old systems,
Right. They're solving complex problems.
often with limited resources,
Yeah, they have to be creative.
thinking outside the box.
And they're often integrating Visual FoxPro with newer technologies.
Yeah, so they're bridging the gap.
Exactly. And those skills are valuable anywhere.
So there's definitely room for growth.
Absolutely. They can move into data architecture,
Business intelligence,
cloud integration,
all sorts of things.
as long as they keep learning.
Right, because technology never stands still.
Nope.
And they've got that experience,
Years of it, usually.
which is so valuable.
It is. You can't just teach that.
And that's why I think a resource like theperfectdeveloper.com is so important.
I agree. They get it.
They understand this niche.
And they can connect you with the right people.
So if you're out there and you need to hire a Visual FoxPro developer,
Don't give up.
there are great people out there.
And theperfectdeveloper.com can help you find them.
They can help you navigate this whole process
From figuring out what you need
to finding the right candidates.
to making sure it's a good fit.
So check them out.
Try their 5 questions tool.
It's a great way to get started.
It is. And who knows?
You might just find that perfect developer
The one who can keep those systems running smoothly.
and maybe even help you modernize down the road.
Exactly.
All right, that's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.